I featured Glenn's Leech in my first book, Fly Patterns for Stillwaters. Since that initial introduction, Glenn Gibrant's simple leech pattern has remained a staple within my fly box. Over the years, my Glenn's leeches have gone through a few minor changes, such as the addition of a red micro mini brass cone. Here are the materials you will need to add this great little pattern to your Stillwater fly box. So let's tie the Glenn's Leech. This is a pattern I first featured in my first book, Fly Patterns for Stillwaters. It was originated by Glenn Gibrant, who lives in the greater Vancouver area when I was a member of the Osprey Fly Fishers. So into the jaws of the vise, I've placed a number 10 Mustad C49S, and then I've slid on a mini cone in red. Glenn used to originally tie this with just red tying thread, but we sort of evolved it to fish it with a red glass bead, or in this case, a 3/32 micro cone. These are really neat little cones, and you can get them from Canadian Lamb, as you can see there, 3/32, so really tiny. We're going to add a little bit more weight to it as well. Going to take some 10 thou lead wire and just start carefully wrapping this around the hook shank. You can tighten those wraps up in a second, but this is pretty brittle, but it's just a little more weight to help get it down and provide that seductive jigging action that we're always trying to get with our leech pattern. So we'll just get that on and just sort of break away the excess, and then use our thumbnails to squeeze that in, and we can push that tight in up against. That's just going to help jig that head a little bit more, and the amount of weight you add is sort of up to yourself. Originally, Glenn used to coat the entire shank with lead, actually flipped the fly upside down, but that was fine. Kept it weed free, still got the nice jigging action, and then again, as I said earlier, you just had a red tying thread head on it. Now we're going to add some brown tying thread. This is the MFC premium thread, the 8/0 in brown. Just going to get that started. That little tag under. Trim away our excess. Cover the hook shank with tying thread. All the way up. Maybe not a little far. Just about the back of the barb. Come forward just a bit so that'll hang. And I'm just going to tuck that lead wire back in there nice and tight. That'll help keep your cone up. For the tail, the original pattern used rabbit zonker strips, but nowadays we have other fur that is zonkered, and a really good choice are these micro pine squirrel zonkers. You get in a variety of colors, browns, olives, blacks, maroon, burgundy, claret, all the same color there. Just depends on the manufacturer. So they really work well. So what I'm going to do is I've just taken a little tuft. I'm actually just going to pluck away some of the fur, if you will, off of the front section, so I get right on the tan skin. Just going to put a loose loop around and then secure that in place right at the back of the hook here. So just get that firmly in place. Make sure it's sitting on top. And then we can just moisten our fingers. And what we're really going to actually do is, we can trim this any time, but we'll do it now, is we would just want a short little tail on this. So I'm just going to pull up and about even with the bend of the hook. So there's not, at first glance, this doesn't look like a lot. But we're just going to come up, work our scissors into the fur like this, pull it along. We've got that nice little tuft of tail. This is a small little leech pattern, a micro leech, if you will. And then we're just going to carry our tying thread forward. We want to keep an even profile, so I'm just going up to the rear of the lead, and then I'm going to tie in some gold wire, UTC small in this case, or uni fine, either is a good choice for this pattern. I'll lay the gold wire right along the near side of the hook, get that tied in place so it's right in behind the lead wire, and then secure that all the way down the hook shank along the near side. That's the side closest to me, right down to the base of the tail. We'll just tuck that wire out of way out of the back. And then for the body, it doesn't get much simpler. We're just going to take a complementary color of brown marabou. Going to strip off, moisten my fingers, but I'm going to strip off 1/4 of an inch or so, 3/8 of an inch. Just strip that away. And then we're just going to take this, and I'm just going to turn it around so you can see what I'm doing here, but I'm just kind of twisting the fibers to get them all together and align them. I'm going to tie them in by the tips, but the tips are kind of ragged and uneven. So I'm just going to nip them even so it eases tie-in. Moisten the tips. Good old saliva. Tie them in. Carry the tying thread forward, right up, right in behind the bead. I'm going to put a few strands didn't get tied in there. I'm just going to take a half turn, and then I'm just going to start spinning the marabou with my thumb and forefinger. You can see how that twists it up, adds a bit of strength to it, and gets those fibers to really stand out so they radiate around the shank. And we're just going to go all the way up. You can see by tying in the tips we get the natural taper of the material working for us, so the fly gets progressively fatter up towards the eye of the hook. We're going to pack that right in behind that bead. Come in with our tying thread. Tie off the marabou. A couple over top, one in front. Carefully trim away the excess. We'll trim our thread. And then we're just going to take our wire and sort of zigzag it, if you will, just to give a little reinforcement, a little attractive flash, hint of segmentation. Again, come up right behind the bead, or the cone rather. A couple of wraps over top, a couple in front. Thumbnail on the tie-off area, pull and twist, break away the excess. And then we're just going to apply our head cement. Alright, we've got everything tied off. We're just going to apply our head cement, a little bit of brushable super glue. Coat about 3/8 of an inch or so. Stroke those fibers back out of the way. And let that coated thread carry the cement right in behind the cone. And then just a little whip finish directly behind. Disengage. Trim. And your Glen's Leech is complete. So there's the finished Glen's Leech. Once these materials get wet, they all slick back and blend into each other. You have a very slender, simple leech pattern. It's an excellent choice to hang under an indicator, cast and retrieved. And when the damsels are around, for example, an olive or a light olive Glen's Leech, it's an excellent choice as well. It has multiple characteristics to simulate different food sources. So there you go, the Glen's Leech. For more information on fly fishing, and stillwater fly fishing in particular, please visit my website at flycraftangling.com. Here you'll find lots of information, including fly fishing tips, fly patterns, articles, dates on my seminars and schools, along with links to my blog and mine and Brian Chan's online Stillwater fly fishing shop. You can also visit our store directly at stillwaterflyfishingstore.com. Please join the conversation on my Facebook page or follow me on Twitter. Thanks for watching, and please take the time to watch my other tying videos as well.